Chapter 1. Iha Call to Duty. Leo Longbottom was a young but already well-known wizard forensics expert at the Ministry of Magic. His extraordinary gift of necromancy and his keen understanding of magical artifacts made him an indispensable specialist in the investigation of the most complex and sinister crimes. His light, slightly tousled hair and piercing blue eyes seemed to see through any deception or illusion. Dressed in a dark robe with silver embroidery, he always carried with him his yew wand, slender yet sturdy, which had saved him more than once in dangerous situations. Leo was never alone in his adventures. His loyal companion and friend, Draff, was always by his side, a magical creature that resembled a hybrid of a dog and a cat. Draff was the size of a small puppy, with soft fur that shimmered in different shades of silver in the light. He had pointed ears and a fluffy tail like a cat, but his face and behavior resembled a dog, always ready for action and incredibly loyal. Draff possessed a unique ability to sense magic, especially dark and dangerous forms, and often noticed things that escaped the human eye. That evening, when Leo returned home after a long day at work, he had barely taken off his robe when his wand vibrated, signaling a new urgent call. Draff, sensing his master's concern, approached him and quietly growled, as if reminding him that they were ready for a new adventure. "Another case, Draff," Leo smiled, looking at his pet. "And it seems serious." Draff barked softly in response, his eyes glowing with anticipation. Leo quickly dressed and headed for the door, ready to head to London, where a new case awaited them. As they walked through the illuminated streets, Leo and Draff moved confidently, attracting some curious glances from passers-by. Despite the late hour, London's streets were full of life, people enjoying the warm evening, strolling, laughing, and discussing the latest news. But Leo was focused on his assignment, trying not to get distracted. However, everything changed when he turned into a narrow alley. There he saw her, a girl who made him forget everything else for a moment. She was standing by the window of a bookstore, looking at the antique volumes with obvious interest. Her long golden hair gently brushed her shoulders, and her green eyes sparkled in the light of the street lamps. She was wearing a light summer robe that emphasized her grace and elegance. Leo stopped in his tracks. Everything around him seemed to slow down, and his heart began to beat faster. The girl turned her head and met his gaze. Time stood still, and for a moment they were alone in this crowded world. Her smile was warm and friendly, as if she was greeting an old friend. "Hello," she said softly, her voice gentle and melodic. "Hello." Leo barely managed to respond, feeling his tongue tie up. Draff, noticing his master's strange behavior, looked at the girl with interest and quietly snorted, as if reminding Leo of the importance of their mission. "You're Leo, aren't you?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. "I've heard about you." Leo was stunned. How could she know him? But before he could ask, his wand vibrated again, reminding him of the urgency of the call. Leo felt a sudden conflict between his desire to learn more about this mysterious girl and his duty to his work. "Yes, that's me." "Sorry, I have to go," he said, struggling to turn away from her. "I have a case to attend to." "Nyla," she suddenly said, as if answering his unasked question. "My name is Nyla." "Nyla," he repeated, as if memorizing her name forever. "I'll be back." She nodded, understanding his hesitation, and smiled again. Leo reluctantly tore himself away and hurried on, feeling as though his heart was left behind at the bookstore. Draff followed him closely, observing his master's reaction. As they moved away from the alley, Leo found his thoughts still occupied with the enigmatic Nyla. Who was she? How did she know his name? But for now, these questions had to be set aside. The crime scene awaited him, and it was his duty to find out what had happened. But deep down, Leo knew that this encounter would change his life forever. Chapter 2. Shadows on the Walls. Leo and Draff reached the crime scene shortly after midnight. The narrow, dark alley they found themselves in seemed isolated from the rest of the world. A strange silence hung in the air, as if time itself had frozen in anticipation. Even the streetlights appeared dim, hesitant to penetrate the depths of this grim place. A slight chill ran down Leo's spine. Draff, walking beside him, tensed, his ears flattened, and his tail stiffened, clear signs that something truly sinister had occurred here. The crime scene, according to the Aurors, was bizarre. No bodies, no obvious signs of struggle, just an overwhelming sense of unseen menace that defied explanation. Leo knew that ordinary methods would be of no use here. He needed to use his unique abilities to uncover what lay beneath the surface. He stopped in the center of the alley and slowly waved his hand through the air, uttering a spell that revealed hidden traces of magic. At first, nothing happened, but soon dark spots and shapes began to appear on the walls around him, silhouettes that looked like shadows left by someone long gone. These marks were not ordinary, they were remnants of magical actions, and Leo could sense that these souls were somehow connected to what had transpired here. Draff growled, his eyes flashing with alarm. Leo glanced around and realized that these silhouettes were more than just traces of magic. They were imprints of souls left behind at the moment of death. What happened here? Leo murmured, contemplating what he saw. He decided to summon the souls back to this world to get answers. His hands trembled as he grasped his wand. Although he was an experienced necromancer, every time he confronted the summoning of souls, it required immense concentration and inner strength. He took a deep breath and began to chant the spell. The darkness around him thickened, and soon ghostly figures began to appear before him. Their outlines were blurry, as if they struggled to break through the veil between worlds. Leo addressed them. "Tell me what happened here." His voice was firm but tinged with uncertainty. The souls slowly began to respond. They whispered, their voices filled with fear and pain. One of the figures moved closer to Leo, its features gradually becoming clearer, and he realized that it was an elderly man. His face was twisted in terror. "We didn't see," the soul said in a trembling voice. "It came so fast, and everything turned dark. We couldn't understand what it was." Leo frowned. This was unexpected and disappointing. He had hoped the souls would provide him with answers, but their fear and confusion made their memories vague and unclear. "You don't remember anything? No details?" Leo asked, trying to extract any useful information. "Darkness. We were surrounded by darkness. And then everything vanished," another soul replied, its voice shaking from the memories. Leo felt his hopes for a quick breakthrough in the investigation slipping away. He realized that the dark magic used here was so powerful that even the souls couldn't recall all the details. This was highly unusual and made him even more uneasy. Among the ghostly figures, there was one more that caught Leo's attention. This soul appeared weaker than the others, its contours barely visible. It stood silently in the distance, hesitant to approach. Leo felt a strange connection to this soul, as if it might hold the key to understanding what had happened. "Come closer," Leo said gently, addressing the last figure. "I'm here to help you." The soul slowly approached, its movements timid, as if it was struggling with something inside. When it was close enough, Leo could make out its face. It was a woman. Her eyes, empty and full of pain, met his gaze. I didn't see the face of the one who attacked us," she whispered. "But it was a person. I felt it. It was their magic. But something was wrong with it." These words made Leo think. The magic used here could have been corrupted or belonged to someone who wielded rare or forbidden spells. This could mean that the perpetrator was not just a wizard, but someone who deliberately used dark forces. Leo released the souls, allowing them to return to the world of the dead. He felt a weight on his heart, but now he had at least one lead. The attacker was a wizard, but their power was tainted, possibly influenced by dark magic. All that remained was to find this person and figure out why they needed to take the lives of these unfortunate souls. But Leo sensed that many more mysteries and dangers lay ahead. Sensing that their work here was done, Draff barked softly, bringing Leo back to reality. Leo took one last look around the alley, mentally noting every detail before slowly heading back. His mind was filled with questions, but one thing was clear: this night would be only the beginning of unraveling darker and deeper secrets.